Born in 1959, Madam Nor Aini Hashim wanted to be a nurse since she was 12.
Yeah, it's your first operation day. It takes time. It's a matter of time.
Now, 39 years into the job, her work just about defines her. Through her spirit and sacrifice, Nor Aini embodies the values of the Merdeka generation.
She say later, then after I tell her the food will get cold, not nice to eat. Then she say okay, she want to eat. Sorry, auntie, we're just bringing all the way. I love nursing. I like to make difference in people's life and also their well-being.
Nor Aini is 60. She's on a journey to rediscover places and faces of her past, revisiting a lifetime of memories when a generation and a country was coming of age. This is Singapore's last Kampong. It looks and feels much like the one Nor Aini grew up in. Kampong Lorong Buangkok is a stone's throw away from an old Kampong, now demolished.
There's a slight changes here. Then looking at this, Lorong Buangkok, and then in bracket there's a silat kain. I remember, I'm so surprised to see the word silat kain still there, because it's actually those days during my younger days, this area always flood. The Malay lady usually when they walk here, there's a lot of Malay here, community Malay. So when they walk, they got to leave their sarong. They got to leave their sarong as they walk during the rainy season and flood. That's why it was named as silat kain in Malay. That's why.
Singapore in 1964 is 5 years into attaining self-government, and just a year into a merger with Malaya in a newly formed federation. Against a backdrop of sweeping political change and communal tensions, the government of the day has an urgent task: to build a modern city out of swamps and slums. Prime Minister at the time, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, remarks on the city's health and hygiene conditions. Singapore is now full of flies. There are many wild dogs and cows running about in the streets. The situation looks very grave.
What I noticed last time, we don't have a proper sewerage system. And then we also don't have a proper drainage. Where actually, my mother used to create a drain. She would dig the soil. She would dig the ground to create the drain, just to make the water flow as she wash her plate and clothing.
Unsanitary conditions throughout the city are a major health concern. Diseases like diphtheria, dysentery, cholera, malaria, and tuberculosis or TB are widespread. Nor Aini was born in 1959, when many in Singapore still lived in kampongs. The rustic kampong conditions were the setting for many happy childhood memories. Today, she's looking to see if any of her old neighbors are still here. Sun Mui Hong is the village chief, and she's lived here her entire life.
Hey, hi dear. Hey, how are you, darling? So long to see you. Bye, ta. Okay, nice to meet you. Okay.
从小就认识，他住在上面那个村，我住在这个村。Ah,
Ya,
dia
ya.
tinggal kampung sana.
Sana pun ada kampung sini dekat saya. Dia knows we know most of them we know each other. Pasal kita keluar jalan
那个
kan.
hospital 的人全部住在我家，所以变成全部认识，有沟通嘛。那时候我做小孩子比较调皮，每次去他们的kampung。
Kecil rumah dia. Kecil rumah dia. Kecil kan ni tak? Masih ingat? Aini Hashim. Kan dulu kita satu walk dekat Woodbridge. Yeah, this is Pakcik Umar, my old colleagues in Woodbridge Hospital. He's my father friend also, my late dad friend. We work together in Woodbridge Hospital. So I remember those days I work with him. He's a warden there. Cik ingat saya tak dulu masa kita kerja sama? Kerja
Ingat
dekat
tapi nama tak baru tahu lah. Lupa. Anak tahu pasal dia adik-beradik sama-sama kerja, bapak dia sama-sama kerja.
Ingat. I'm so surprised to see pakcik.
Nenek.
Assalamualaikum. Pakcik kenal anak Hashim, Nor Aini Hashim.
Hashim Bukit.
Ya. Pakcik kenal
Fatimah.
mama saya. Then Fatimah, my mother, sister can recognize my mother. I
Mak
can
dia,
remember.
bapak dia tahu. Dia dulu kecil-kecil lah. Jadi dia kecil-kecil jadi ingat-ingat lupa lah. Pernah tinggal kat Lenjong tak? Tinggal kat Lenjong.
Kan kalau Lenjong lah, no Lenjong.
Kat
Dia depan
Lenjong.
dulu
Dia
ya.
tinggal tak jauh lah dari rumah aku. Mak dia sama bapak dia semua aku tahu.
This place actually remind me of my younger day, but it's slightly, we got more trees in our home that time. Here I see banana, we have banana, we have mango tree, we got tapioca, rows of tapioca, sweet potatoes, pandan leaf and love grass, we got a lot. Then we also got, we make crepe, my mother make crepe those days, we sell also at only 10 cents per packet. Yeah, like we can earn money from that also. Yeah, it's actually very good. I remind me of my days. I used to run, my father plant the tapioca, I run from one place to another. Then he always say, hey, stop, you kill the plant, but I don't mind. I go with my sisters, all we like to play at the garden there. Those days are really fun actually, compared from today's all computers, right?
The fruits and vegetables her father planted helped support their extended family.
Since my father worked in the government service, especially income is stable in those days. But on top of that, because of she take care of my auntie, who's a widow, and grandma in Malacca.
In 1976, the family moved out of their Kampong home to government quarters nearby. Nor Aini's father was a warden at the old Woodbridge Hospital. But while Nor Aini's Kampong days lasted till she was just 17, the Kampong spirit never left her. "60-year-old Haja Nor Aini Hashim was born in 1959, at the cusp of a country's birth. She, like many Singaporeans of the Merdeka generation, saw her city's transformation from third world to first. Ordinary citizens like Nor Aini had also made that transformation happen through their occupations and their dedication to them. Nor Aini is a nurse, and she's been a nurse for 39 years. She grew up in a kampong and now shares a flat with her mother. Haja Tima Bidin is 83. While their kampong days have long passed, memories of those happy yet challenging times are well preserved.
Baju orang mana simpan kat mana? Tengok.
Thoughts on the kampong immediately bring to mind the patriarch of the family. Nor Aini's father, Haja Hashim Sama, who died in 2005, was the eldest sibling in a very large extended family. Hashim's sacrifice and hard work has left an impression on his 6 children.
Okay, actually my dad was a cikgu when he came from Malacca. Actually, after that he moved on to Singapore when he was 22 years old. He worked as a police, in the Royal Navy Air Force with the British. So when Singapore Chief Independent in 1965, Dad switched to work in. Dad was, he worked in a criminal ward. He looked after all those charged criminals. Okay. Then on top of that, actually, he also helped in doing dressing, some of the nursing jobs like injections. Those days, he was taught to do all these things: injections, do dressings, and also some medicines to the patient.
Close to her old kampong, the old Woodbridge Hospital played a key part in Nor Aini's life. Her family moved into workers' quarters here when her kampong was redeveloped in 1976.
Yeah, oh, I remember this bell those days when I was young. I stayed at Woodbridge Hospital quarters. You know, this bell will ring continuously when there's lalang burning. because those days most of the area that's surrounded are lalang, so it burns, so it's very quite dangerous. But then the whole hospital were here, including all the quarters, because it's very loud. You can hear the bell ringing.
The pre-war building has long been demolished. But a model here at the new hospital's museum helps Nor Aini recall memories of her time here.
The Woolwich Hospital at the canteen there, actually, last time they used to use those condensed milk to make coffee. So actually the tin is actually usable, so actually can be recycled. So what they give to my dad, they said, why not you want to earn an extra income, you can bring this home to wash, put it dry, then you return it back, then I will give you some money. So on top of that, mom also, she worked as a washer lady when I was in primary 5. It's just to help with the family's income. I help ma with all the work that she had done there. Mom will do the ironing and washing the clothes. Then for me, I will have to sweep the house and then mop the house and even wash the bathtub.
Kita semua tak ada apa susah, kita semua cukup makan. Dia punya bapak belanja 1 bulan lah. 1 bulan dia ambil 300 cukup semua apa. Kadang tak ada. Dia ambil apa? Biskut 1 tin besar, crackers ni biskut. Butter, peanut, melo, semua 1 bulan dia makan. 300 lah. Saya tak ada susah sangat lah.
Nor Aini's encounters at the hospital would also influence her choice of careers.
You know, this is what 11 and 13 of Woolwich Hospital. I just stay just a meter away from there. The environment that I stay around with, near to Woolwich Hospital, then I saw the nurses going back to the nurses' hostel. I like the attire actually.
Proud, if a little self-conscious, they put on their uniforms for the first time and set out for their lectures.
White uniform with white caps, it symbolizes me purity and love. Kita makan. Sudu pakai sudu. Nanti kita suapkan makcik. My desire is to be a nurse. Strong desire is I want to be a nurse. I want to wear that white uniform. Oh, kena swab lah. Nanti saya cuci tangan, saya swab makcik. Saya cuci tangan dulu Yeah, okay. So just because of that uniform, it's not because that I want to look after people. I never think of that before.
An encounter with a cancer patient in her trainee days would help Nor Aini find purpose in her career.
She cannot eat, so she had to go by the tube. So she was very depressed. She refused to talk with us actually. So I always remember that our words as a nurse, words are very powerful. We put ourselves in patients' room. We can listen to all their problems and we sit to them actually. They are happy because of this. I think I must stay. I must stay in nursing. I love to make difference to people in their life and their well-being.
Nor Aini's journey to becoming a nurse started here in 1980 at the School of Nursing, formerly housed at the grounds of the Singapore General Hospital.
Nice to meet you too. How are you? Okay. Yeah, fine.
Mariam Mohammed, her old classmate, works here in the burns unit. They're both 60 this year and celebrating their 39th year on the job.
This is the cap. Yeah.
With our cap, remember during our time we kept our biscuit container
just to keep this one so that you'll be
crumple.
Remember. we put butter cookies, right?
Yes.
But cookies we keep, then we put our cap. That's I remember.
Ali, remember I have an old photo in our classroom.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
This is
You
old.
see, we take photo during block time.
They're very nice. Actually, you look smart now with the caps and feel it. I'm here there. Yeah, national
Together that time,
yeah, that's I remember. As a student those days, actually, we do 3 shifts. We work with the trained nurses by observation and listening. At the same time, we assist the doctors doing practicals in the ward. So we follow instruction from the trained nurses to do all this work. So it's very busy. We seldom hardly go for break, actually.
Nor Aini joined the profession in an era when nurses were in great demand. The state of health needed a desperate shot in the arm. Reports from the time, in the mid-1960s to late 1970s, estimate infant mortality to be 1 in 38 births. Clinics were understaffed and wards overcrowded. Each outpatient doctor saw an average of 118 patients a day. In 1980, at the Singapore General Hospital, Nor Aini, then a trainee nurse, saw the effects of that overcrowding on her patients.
It's a very busy environment. Patients sleep in a stretcher, like folded bed, in SDH those days, because we really got big crunch. Patients came in for operations, especially they still rest in that bed. In that, we call it a folded bed. I don't think that is really comfortable for the patient these days, but that was in the 80s. But now everything changed.
Mariam too had hectic times as a trainee nurse. Conditions at home spurred her on.
It started when I was the main giver. My experience looking after my mom. Then after my mother passed away, then that makes me want to know what sickness is CRF. It's a chronic renal failure. That's how made me interested to be a nurse, to find out more about it.
Mariam and Nor Aini graduated from nursing school in 1982, into an era when healthcare in Singapore saw a brand new set of challenges, just as their city, of swamps and slums just a decade past, raced ahead to become a modern metropolis. Opened in 2010, the Khoo Teck Puat Hospital in Singapore is where Haja Nor Aini Hashim works. She's one of the oldest among her colleagues, so Nor Aini is the designated mentor to the newbies. And the veteran nurse sets high standards for everyone, including herself.
Nursing is a career that we help people and save lives. I still love doing my job. And I still love imparting my knowledge and experience to my junior nurses actually.
Tong Tie is a student nurse here on an internship.
The most important thing that you say that if you do visual round, when you don't like patients with catheter like that, make sure it's above the floor. Yeah, never to let it touches the floor, at least 5 cm above the floor. It's very important. This is the reason we don't want patients to get infection, just because of that. Very important, okay? Yeah.
Nor Aini's own start as a nurse happened during very different times in Singapore. In 1982, Singapore was racing ahead in its progress. A city once of slums and swamps had been transformed into an economic success story that is the envy of the world. Clean environment, improved education and better living standards, largely rid of diseases of the past like cholera, malaria, tuberculosis. But new lifestyles turn up diseases of affluence. Merdeka Generation nurses like Nor Aini are first to the front lines in a healthcare system learning to counter challenging new conditions. Throughout all that time, Nurse Nor Aini had cared for hundreds and thousands of patients. Often, the former Kampong girl was much more than a nurse to a patient.
I do have patients as young as he's a college student boy. He's only 20 years old. He was diagnosed to have leukemia. When he passed away, his parents brought him an ice cream. The ice cream, actually, he's supposed to drink the ice cream, but it's happened that before he could drink, it's already gone. So I bring the ice cream all the way from our hospital to his wake. Then I give to the parent, I just put at the altar there. I say, this is his ice cream that you brought, but he it's not in time to have it, is it?
Okay, in terms of students, how are we going to...
Joyce Ho wants Dong Tie to learn from Nor Aini's example.
Always tell me that you're busy. I don't know when it's okay, I will take over. It's always tell me that.
Joyce is a nursing lecturer at the Institute of Technical Education. Dong Tie is her student. Joyce met Nor Aini 12 years ago when she joined Khoo Teck Puat Hospital fresh out of nursing school. She's one of hundreds of nurses Nor Aini had trained in a long and illustrious career.
Yeah, taught me how to top up iron chart.
There's 3 things that I learned from her. She's always caring towards the junior nurses and showing us all the help that we need. Compassionate. She always helped the needy family. She will always buy the own dressing set and go to the house to do for their own. She has always worn a smile when she comes on duty. Even in difficult situations or in busy routines, she always wore a smile towards the patient.
Really, you look at it, I found out all the letters that my student gave me before. See, I feel very touched reading all these letters. I know that they will never let me down with all the promises that they wrote in these letters and cards, actually. I always tell my student that actually it's all from their heart, actually. I always tell them that to be a good nurse, that you must always be understanding, be a good advocators, because we are responsible in delivering care to all the patients. That's what nurses are actually.
For Nor Aini, being a nurse was never just a job.
Okay, good.
It was, and still is, a calling. And working hard at it came naturally. It's a sentiment that Nor Aini feels is universal amongst her generation, nurses or otherwise.
We must work hard. We are different from now children, so that everything is computers. But those days we have to work hard. I remember our late Mr. Lee Kuan Yew say that in Malay he said that kita mesti bersatu, tingkatkan diri, bantu diri kita sendiri untuk kemajuan negara dan diri kita sendiri. That is the word that he used to say in his speech. I remember that.
Nurses like Nor Aini helped shape Singapore's healthcare system to become one of the best in the world. They were ordinary Singaporeans who achieved an extraordinary feat because the Merdeka Generation helped transform the country that raised them.